Greetings from CarbaCap. We've had some complaints about people trying to use non-standard or economy bottles when trying to use the CarbaCap. This is not recommended. We specifically designed our CarbaCap to fit the standard preform 1810 preform. That's the actual number for this, which is the most standard of all preforms that are out there for PET bottles. This is what we call a standard preform. The preform, this is actually molded plastic, and it's heated on this end of the tube, and then air is pumped in. It expands inside of a mold, creating a 1 liter or 2 liter bottle. This end is kept cold so that the threads do not change. That is critical when using the preform 1810 preform when using a standard bottle. Now this is a standard bottle. There are currently about 8 billion of these produced every year. So annually they produce a lot more of these than they do the non-standard or the economy bottles. This preform is known as an 1810. It has a 22 millimeter opening on the very top, and that's critical for fitting the CarbaCap correctly. The CarbaCap will fit all standard PET bottles. About a year ago, some bottling companies chose to use a preform that is actually about a gram less in size. It's a smaller opening. This became very popular with many of the big bottling companies, and it was an effort to save roughly about a gram's worth of shipping per bottle. When you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of bottles per day being shipped, a gram is a considerable amount when you're dealing with shipping. They've chosen to spend the exorbitant amount of money on new systems that actually will take that preform, the non-standard preform, and turn it into a 2 liter bottle. And it became very popular in many areas throughout the United States. It is recommended with the CarbaCap to use only a standard PET bottle. Standard PET bottles come from the 1810 or the 1881 preformed blanks that are actually used when making a standard bottle. Now this is probably the most common throughout the world, with over 8 billion in production annually. We designed the CarbaCap to fit the standard PET bottle, and this is really so that you could easily locate and find and reuse a PET bottle. That's the reason that it's that size. If you try to use the CarbaCap on a non-standard PET bottle, you will run into the situation where it's not going to fit. It will actually screw onto the bottle crooked, mainly because the CarbaCap has a gas retaining wall built inside of it that actually catches on the opposite side of the PET, the threaded inward side. And it actually, if you'll notice in the illustration, it actually runs up inside that groove. If you're using a non-standard bottle, it's going to cause it to thread on or catch at the very top on one side, and it will make the CarbaCap look as if it is crooked. This is not a defect. This is actually will happen when trying to use a non-standard or an economy bottle. You have to use the standard bottle, and by far that is the most common throughout the world. As the manufacturer of the CarbaCap, we strive towards perfection when we're making our caps. The hard formed cap is not a two-part process on the interior. The interior cannot be deformed. The threads are of a consistent thread, which is actually a plug that's inside the mold when it is injected. So it's not an actual defect when it is crooked, when it's being put on a non-standard or a economy PET bottle. To locate a standard PET bottle, we do recommend using generic brands of soda. This is so that the bottling company that is still using the standard, which is the most common in the market, they are using a standard PET bottle, and therefore it will work best with your CarbaCap. Hopefully this has answered your questions about this issue. If you have more questions, feel free to drop us a line. And if you'd like more information, please check our frequently asked questions on our website. It will give you far more detail than we covered today. Thank you again.